Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Stranger Things 2, Chapter 9, The Gate. It is the season finale, full spoilers for the episode, and of course the season as a whole now at this point, so here we go.
Congratulations, by the way, on your final one, introducing it 100% correctly.
I was really thinking about it as I was doing it.
The last chance, you had to get it.
I was paying close attention to my phrasing, I was making sure it worked. And I'm not gonna lie, if I messed it up, I was willing to just start again. Just no cut, scrap that, take, start again.
This last one has to be perfect.
Yeah, but that was a first timer, just for anyone. Just
Oh, it was. I'll give him that one.
So, well, my first thought is, so you said Dr. Owens was dead.
I said I hoped he was dead. Stand by it.
I'm rubbing it in. No body, no death. I was right.
That's fine.
I'm just saying.
Still would have preferred him to be dead.
No, I'm delighted with him being around. I'm happy with that fact, and not just because I'm right, although that does add to it a little bit. So
That's fair. I get it.
So no, I thought this was a really solid finale, just off the right out the gate here.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Out the gate. Yeah, very good.
What can I say? I do the puns, you don't.
Yeah, if they're gonna be that shit, I'm glad I don't.
Yeah, well, so we had a lot of catharsis in this episode. I had a lot of worried moments where I thought, oh, are they teasing something bad's about to happen? There was a few of those.
There was.
All these kind of things. I mean, right away, obviously we have Elle back in the group and her interacting with everyone. I think you do kind of nerd out when she's like touching Dustin's teeth. It's like, you've got teeth. It's like, you like these pearls, and then does his little noise. In fact, I like the fact that Elle has seen some serious shit, but that noise from Dustin made her go.
Yeah. That's the thing that gets a reaction.
Yeah, she's terrified of that. But what I loved about this opening scene, though, now I'm not particularly fussed about Max snubbing her with the handshake, or Elle snubbing Max with the handshake.
I knew it was going to happen. I think I said this,
Yeah.
Whenever that was, episode like 2 or 3. I'm still. I was a little bit annoyed in the moment because I'm like, ugh, we're doing this, but thankfully it never really has any
That's
more
the thing.
time
Like,
to worry.
I was thinking about this as I was watching. Like, you were so worried about this being a thing, this kind of triangle, and I mean, yeah, it had that moment, but like
I said,
it's nothing else.
I'll defend when I said it originally because it was much earlier in the season. And I wasn't expecting it to be this late when we got them all together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was annoyed in the moment because I thought, oh, we're finally all back together, and then we're doing this, and then they didn't. So it's like, and I guess they can't really do it after this. I would hope.
No, everything seems. I think as soon as she sees Max with Lucas, it's like, yeah, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I actually think that one of the maybe a sweet storyline next season might be them bonding. It might be Eleven and Max kind of getting to know each other. And
No, that makes sense.
I can almost see the scene in my head of Elle apologising for being a bitch and it being a really nice little moment.
Yeah, I think you're right for that. I don't know if she'll necessarily apologise or just kind of brush it over, but definitely have some bonding.
Yeah, they'll bond. They'll have some moments. But what I really liked about this opening scene, though, is Mike's reaction to like Hopper, because Hopper just admits it. He's like, because he's like, oh, I've been calling you every day, and she's like, yeah, all 350 whatever it is, and he's like, why didn't you let me know you're okay? And like Hopper just admits, I didn't let her. I've been hiding her. And Mike's reaction was it was fantastically acted by Finn, by Wolfhard. How can I forget a name like Wolfhard? But
It's a good name.
it's a fantastic name. He deserves all the work in the world with that name, because that's the sort of name where, you know how like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you just put Schwarzenegger at the top of the poster, just Wolfhard. You just have Wolfhard in.
Oh, can he be in a Wolfman remake?
No. What he needs to be in is the crossover between the Wolfman and Die Hard.
Yes. He is the only suitable casting for that.
We just need to wait until he's old enough, and then
It's fine. I can wait. I got patience.
yeah, 5-7 years till he's like hitting 20, and we can go from there. There you go. It's excellent. So
Let's do this.
But no, his reaction, because he properly goes in and hits Hopper, and I also like that Hopper, like, I mean, he raises his voice and gets sort of loud about it, but he doesn't say, stop being a little brat, and like he says, no, I want to talk to you alone. Like he says, no, I'm going to take you aside and we're going to have a conversation as equals, person to person. Because as much as you're a kid, I get that
Yeah, yeah.
I've done something here that has really genuinely upset you.
I've shafted you a bit here.
Yeah. And they go into the other room and he's trying to explain it. And I like it where he's like, no, like, fine, you don't have to, like, thank me for, like, you know, because he's like, oh, I'm protecting her, I'm even protecting you. Like, this is make everything safe for everyone. Just try to understand, but whatever you do not blame her. And that's all he says. And I love his reaction where he like pushes him like several times and calls him a shitbag, and he's punching away until he sort of like breaks down and sort of hugs him. And it was really authentic. I felt like, no, this is how Mike should react. He's been angry all season. He's been lonely all season. This is exactly how he needed to react. It felt true to the character and well performed by both actors. So I like all right away. I was like, you know what, this is paying off everything. And I think the other thing I'd say about this finale is that there were so many details that were brought up throughout this season during the long build that all kind of popped up and paid off in some small ways, some bigger ways.
That's true.
It was a really nice touch, and it made everything feel very fulfilling. So then came the planning of what to do, and the whole message was close gate. And it's actually Joyce who says, "Oh, you opened the gate. Could you close it?" And Hopper's like, "No, we're not going back there. You kidding me? There's dogs all over the place. Demi dogs. I think you'll find Hopper." And she's like, "No, I can do this." But then Mike brings up a point that we've been saying all season. He's like, "Yeah, but if we shut the gate and it kills the hive mind, does that kill Will? Like, do we have to be concerned about that?"
Glad they finally kind of cottoned on.
Well, I wouldn't say finally. I don't think they necessarily have a reason to have had that concern up until now there's been no like, oh, we're going to try and kill it.
No. I mean, I guess, but I think that was always, in the same way they've always gone, right, we're going to fight back. Maybe they didn't have a direct plan, but it's always been the intention to fight back.
Sure, I think you get away with it a lot of the time in this show because it's so much of it's in a condensed space of time. And it's always like this heat of the moment kind of thing where they're constantly in danger, they're constantly trying to figure something out. That, you know, it doesn't feel weird to me that wasn't brought up until this episode. If anything, I just kind of smelled and went, nah. Once again, Mike's proven why he's kind of the leader of the party. He's the one who like has these ideas. You know, later on when they're coming up with the plan to try and distract the monsters so that they go away from Eleven and Hopper, he's the one who's like, no, this is a part of the cave. If we burn this area, maybe we can distract them and we can get them all coming back the other direction and stuff. So they all form this plan, and their plan to try and save Will is because the monster doesn't like the cold, they're going to try and burn it out of him like a fever. So they go to Hopper's cabin, they get radiators and burn the fireplace, and like everything's just, you know, that was like torture to me, that heat, by the way, because I
was sweating just watching it.
Like, and Nancy goes with, because Steve and Nancy have a nice little moment where he's like, you should go with them, and he's like, I can't leave Mike. I can't leave my brother. Like, all this is going on. It's like, hey, like, I'm a shitty boyfriend, but at least I'm a pretty good babysitter.
Yeah.
Which, do you know what? They have done wonders with Steve. I know you keep making your jokes because you don't like him because he looks like someone you knew. But the progression, I would never have said in season 1 that I like Steve.
No, me either. And I think one of the high points of this season has been Steve and Dustin together. So, you know. What can I say?
Steve's great. So Nancy goes with them, and they're all sweating in the cabin with him. And Joyce is like, "No, we need to kill it." And Jonathan's starting to push it out. He's like, "No, you're killing him, Mom, you're killing him." And she's like, "No, turn up the heat." And he's like, you know, rabbiting around.
She grabs the poker.
Yeah, that's right. She actually grabs a fire poker that's hot and stabs her son with it. Well, it doesn't penetrate, admittedly, but you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. She brands him. She brands him like crappy Batman from Batman v Superman. She's like, I'm branding my son.
Why did you remind me?
That's what it made me think of. I can't think of branding now without thinking of that stupid movie. So they're off doing that. They kind of get the short end of the stick, and that's kind of the least interesting plot of the main kind of conflict of the episode.
It is, yeah.
But, you know, it had to be done, and it's fine for what it is. Meanwhile, so Steve's with the kids, and the kids come up with this plan. They've been told not to do anything. You know, Hopper's taking Elle to go and deal with the gate and the big monster, and they're back here, but they're like, no, we can help. Like, there's so many monsters in that place, we can help them, we can distract them. Kind of like how they all ran away at the junkyard, we can do that. We can do that again for them. And they come up with this plan, and everyone's in it. Max is in on it, Lucas is in it, Dustin's in on it, and Steve, again, feeling very authentic, he's like, no, I'm not letting you all go down there into that murder pit. I told everyone I'd keep you safe. That's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to be responsible here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame him. This is exactly what he should be saying.
I mean, Hopper went down there, the thing sealed up, and he almost died. So, which I like, so again, like talking about setting off and paying off, is that we know that just going down there is dangerous. We feel that as they're going down, because the one time we've been down there before, we almost lost our main character. So,
yeah. And obviously they already know that's an entrance there. That's ready to go in.
Yeah, all this stuff set up throughout the season. Like everything was kind of paying off. You know, them having this big map. You know, as much as I questioned how they could make this map as authentic as it is, like whatever, but it's paid off. Like the setup.
I like that here. It didn't need to be any more authentic. You know, the scale didn't have to matter here. The point was, there's a central chamber that they all lead to.
Yeah.
If we go in here, we just follow it in that direction, and we'll come to it.
Yeah. It was just kind of following the directions on they'd obviously drawn down like a small version of the map to look at.
But scale didn't really matter.
Now, Billy's an interesting character in this episode because... So we come back after the opening titles, and we have Billy's best scene in the entire season.
Agreed.
Where it's Mike and Nancy's mum. She's in the bath, and the husband's falling asleep, and she gets out to answer the door, and she was reading like a romance novel, like a trashy romance novel in the bath.
Yeah, 80s 50 Shades of Grey, basically.
Yeah, and what I really noticed, because I actually watched this episode twice before we did this, because, spoiler, I liked it a lot. But is the second time I was watching it, I noticed that the image on the front cover of the book, the guy's hair was basically Billy's haircut.
Was it?
Yeah, and that was really cracking me up the second time. But so answer the door, and it's like he's a completely different character to normal. He's been very smooth and suave. He's leaning against the door, and
yeah, dude's got charm.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Nancy didn't tell me she had a sister. It's like, oh, please, I'm Nancy's mother. Get out! Oh, I'm looking for my little sister. I'm really concerned about my little sister Max. And obviously,
I thought it was really interesting. He said, "Oh, I'm looking for my sister Max. Goes by Maxine." Well, you know, he knows it's the other way around. It's just, he gets that dig in even when she's not there.
Yeah, and he comes in like even when she's like giving him directions to like to Will's house. He's just kind of like, "Oh, thank you. You've been such a great help. You're a lifesaver." It's like, I'll see you around. And I'm like, you know what? If we don't get a plot next season where Mike's mum's tempted to have an affair with this teenager, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah. I love it. She's like, don't drive fast. Don't go too fast. He goes, don't worry, I never do. Out, and it immediately just speeds off.
Yeah. Also, let's not ignore the innuendo there. Don't go too fast. Oh, I never do. Like, come on. Now, this is the thing. Like, they almost made me like him a little bit because that scene was really fun. They almost made me like him. And then he shows up at the house with the kids, and Max sees him coming. He's like, oh, if he sees us there, we're dead. And like Steve's like, oh shit, I'll go outside and deal with them. And obviously this is paying off again. All this build up of them in the basketball court and the taunting.
Yeah, because I think we were questioning that a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, it was fine, but it didn't seem to do anything until now.
Yeah, so obviously he's like, nah, this is bullshit. Who's that over there? And the kids, I mean, as much as they're smart kids, this was a stupid moment for them.
They couldn't help but look out the window, could they?
They wanted to see it. So he pushes Steve down, he comes storming in, and he's angry. He's like, well, if you won't listen to me, maybe you will. And he grabs Lucas and puts him up against the wall. This is where it's getting proper dark. It's like, we had that scene with his dad last episode. I'm like, okay, that humanized him a little bit. Then we had the scene with Mike's mum, and it was like, oh, that was kind of funny. Like maybe he's actually kind of likable in a goofy way.
Scenes like that are why you cast a good actor, because you can swap personalities just like that.
Yeah, I think what I'm getting the sense is there is depth here to him that we might explore next season. That there is layers to what's going. It's not just two-dimensional like it maybe was early on in the season.
He's definitely more interesting now than he was at the start. Yeah.
But it was funny because I remember we were talking about like his comeuppance for the end of the season, and we were saying, "Oh, Max gonna has to get her own back on him. Or it would be nice if Lucas gets a hit in, and obviously Steve as well, like deserves to kind of fight back." And I like that all three of them in their own way, because Lucas gets to knee him in the balls, so he gets his thing. Steve gets a couple of great punches in because obviously,
he really does.
He's attacking Lucas. Obviously, Lucas knees him in the balls. and he's about to, like, he's pissed at Lucas. He's about to, like, do something bad, and that's when Steve comes in. He's like, "No, right, I'm the babysitter."
It's a shame he didn't have the bat with the nails, isn't it?
Well, actually, it's funny you say that because so the fight's going on, and he gets some really good licks in to Billy, but then Billy only starts to win because he fights dirty. He grabs a plate and smashes it over. It's getting kind of dark and violent, and I actually felt kind of awkward. Like all the kids were watching this and they were kind of scared. It felt like a real proper domestic kind of situation. So again, the authenticity of it was really selling it. And the entire time this was happening, when he started to beat the shit out of Steve, I was like, someone grab the bat. That was in my head. I never thought about the syringe. I was just thinking, someone grab the bat and whack him in the back.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Or the leg. But as much as I'm saying I like that Steve got some hits in, I like that Lucas got a knee at the balls in, because he really deserved to get hit off.
But we said the whole time it had to be Max.
It had to be Max. It had to be Max who stuck up for herself. And now, as someone who doesn't like needles, were you struggling during this scene?
I had to look away. Yes, I want to, just before we get to the actual thing, I had to laugh when it was in this, this slow motion sequence where she's watching it slow motion and she notices the needle and goes for it. Mm-hmm. The last couple of times we've had slow motion in this show, in this show, and you've gone, yeah, but they don't have time to react. It's slow motion. Because you said it with when the thing was dropping for Bob, and you went, yeah, it's slow motion for us, but he can't get to that. And then it was when Elle was opening the door, and I said, oh, Hopper, doesn't notice. Like, yeah, but it's slow motion. Doesn't have time to. This one cracks me up because it's like it's slow motion, but she had time.
No, I disagree with your take in this here. She's not. It's not that she doesn't have time because it's slow motion. We are seeing her react in slow motion. I think there's a difference.
No, but I think that the moment where she looks over and has the realization is kind of I think it's slow motion for her is the impact. What I got from it.
Okay, I don't think that.
I read it more. We were kind of in her head. This was playing out like that.
Okay, sure. I don't think that negates the other ones. I don't think that goes against the examples you gave there, though.
It doesn't. I just found it funny.
Okay.
Someone finally reacted in the slow motion.
All right. Okay. So she goes up and stabs him in the neck with a syringe, which knocks him out.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I bet Connor's cringing right now.
I looked away.
I'll have a good neck or syringe in the neck. Neck in the syringe. That one doesn't make sense.
Can't make it work.
So, but then she goes for the bat. I'm like, yes, finally, someone's going to use the bat on the prick. And she's just like, you're going to leave me and my friends alone. And then when he's like, oh, screw you, she just like, swings it and just misses his crotch. Like, say you understand. And then he says, I understand. And then she's like, louder, or say it again, whatever she says. And I thought, that is oddly reminiscent of his father, actually.
It is, yeah.
That was that scene last episode. Is he said, "Oh, tell me you understand," and he's like, he says it, but he says it very quietly. He's like, "No, I didn't hear you," and he says it again. And I don't think it's saying that she's as bad as his father, because clearly not. But
I think it's why he listens. It's almost like he's conditioned into it. To he sees this, and it's like his father is obviously the one with the power in the relationship, and he sees this and it reminds him of that.
It makes him feel weak, because he is weak. He doesn't, and he can only not be weak by realizing what his faults are and actually kind of overcoming them. Is basically the thing. But I thought that was a really interesting way it paralleled that scene from last episode. So then Steve wakes up. He's all bloody and bruised. He's got like some stitching on, and they've been trying to like dampen his blood in his head and all that. And he wakes up and he's like, "What's going on?" And I love that he looks at Mike and he's like, "Nancy." Like he's seen the family resemblance, but he's too delirious.
That was a nice touch.
Yeah, and then he notices Max is driving. He's like, "What the hell? Stop the car! You're like 12."
I told you he was going to react badly.
And he's like, "It's okay. She's driven before." Yeah, and the parking lot, that counts.
It's the same thing.
Everything about this was cracking me up, because it was kind of like he was right to try and stop them from doing this. It would have made no sense to me for him to turn around and say, "Oh no, this is okay. Yeah, I'm going to let you go into danger and do all this stuff." But once they got there and they got all the goggles out and they had the stuff around their face so they didn't breathe anything in. And it's like, "Hey, you promised Nancy you'd keep us safe, so keep us safe." And Dustin hands him the bat, and it's like, he's like, "Oh, fine." It's like, because by this point he knows he's not going to stop them. Like, he can't like guard the hole and stop them from jumping in. So he has to go down and they have to play hero. So it gives them something really cool to do that helps the main thing that's going on, and it all feeds off of each other.
It cuts together really nicely here.
It does. Because they actually kind of both have the same effect, because they distract the monsters while Eleven's doing her thing, and then when she actually starts to succeed, it distracts the monsters back her way, which saves them,
Yeah.
funnily enough.
And you have the imagery of, their plan is to set fire, and that relates in really nicely with the stuff with, they're burning it out of will.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then obviously there's that moment where they find the pit and they spray it all, and they're dousing everything, and then there's slow motion again of the lighter getting into...
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You mentioned how there were a few moments where you thought, "Oh, is someone gonna bite it here?" It was Dustin. He breathes in a bunch of the stuff, and he's screaming and yelling, and it's like fine.
They ain't killing Dustin. He's too much of a fan favorite. It's not happening.
I know. But I almost consider it as like, is that enough to give him a connection? Like for when this gets just when the connection's severed and everything dies, was that enough?
Maybe, I don't know. Obviously, when they're running the way out and they run into Dart, and again, this kind of pays off, like everything, where he like Dart knows him enough that he doesn't just attack immediately, and he puts out the nugget, and it distracts him, and he's like, "Oh, bye, buddy," and he's kind of, like, you almost feel bad for one of these things. It's like, "Oh,
yeah,
damn Dart."
He's notably smaller than the other Demodogs.
Yeah, and we notice him because he's got like the yellow stripe. Because that was pointed out before that he has this sort of yellow stripe on him, so we knew who it was as soon as you just looked at him. So. Very effective, and again he's Steve again. He's being the protector. He kind of he grows on you as someone you like, because he's like, when they get to the rope and they're trying to run out and get out quickly because they hear them all coming back. It's like he's he's lifting up all the kids to get them out quicker. He's like, no, he's being the leader.
Yeah, and you kind of go, right. Is this Steve's going to stay behind? Because I feel like if someone was expendable, might have been him.
Yes, Steve. I could have bought that Steve. This might have been his last episode. That you could have killed him off here, because Nancy's got Jonathan now. And don't get me wrong, they may have a great plan for Steve next year that we don't know about. But at least in terms of the plot this season and what we've done already with them, this could be a great kind of final. No, he kept the kids safe.
Yeah, like I said, if it felt like if someone is gonna go, he felt like a natural choice to have the hero's exit.
Yeah, but Dustin was down there with her, and I'm like, oh no, what was that? What's going to happen? But of course, they all run past him because they're going back to the lab, because they're going to protect the entrance, the gate. Yeah. So it's a really nice little cheat in that sense, and it works really well. So all that stuff was great, and like you say, it intercut beautifully with the other stuff that was going on. The other worry I had during this episode was actually for Eleven. Not necessarily death per se. It could have been death. It could have just been like she gets separated again, which would feel really shitty after.
I think that's why, even though it was playing the moments like I should be worried, I never felt it, because I felt like she was safe, because it wouldn't do that again. It would feel cheap.
Logically, that makes sense. I think it did it so many times, because she says to Mike, "I'm not going anywhere again." Like she's like, "Oh, I don't want you to leave again. I lost you already." And then in the car, like her and Hopper have that great scene where she's like explaining where she went. I love how a man in a truck got me to.
He's like, it's a big truck. It's a nice man.
Oh, a nice man in a big truck. Oh, that's great. That's just great. Could have been some weirdo, but okay. But it's the apology scene. It's like, and this is kind of why I'm almost expecting one with Max, not to the same extent, but I loved it. I don't think we ever talked about this all season. But how much this actually ties into Hopper losing his daughter. Because that was a big thing in the first season. That was a big thing, driving force for his character in the first season. And I don't think it was really... I mean, it was in kind of the back of my head throughout the season, but not enough to ever really talk about it. But like, it never occurred to me that Eleven didn't know that he'd lost a daughter.
Yeah, I didn't realise she didn't know either.
So it was
that's why we weren't talking about it.
Yeah, but it was a really nice moment here when he sort of brings up, like, what... Because he refers to himself as a black hole. And he's like, oh, everything. I pull everything in, and he explains what a black hole is because she doesn't know, and he says, oh, I know that because Sarah had a scrapbook, and she's like, who's Sarah? I was like, oh, that was my little girl, and he has to explain to her that she's not there anymore, that like she's gone. And this was actually part that was worrying me, because when he described himself as a black hole because he pulls everything in and it gets destroyed, I was worried that she was going to then think that about herself, because she seems to cause chaos around her, and I thought that might be a reason why she might try. Okay, yeah,
I'll be honest, I was more worried about Hopper than I was her. If for the idea that she's back revealed to everyone now, so someone else could take her in, so she wouldn't be left entirely alone again.
Yeah, you're worried that this is his like goodbye before.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah, I was kind of getting those vibes as well. And again, it could have been either one of them, but it definitely felt like one of these two could die, given this
It did,
conversation.
and obviously, like I said, I didn't feel like it could have been
Yeah.
Elle. So
So, but again, it's got a really sweet end with the really cool, sweet music comes in. But it's like again, it's calling back to stuff that we've been talking about all season. We've heard about these rules, and it always ends with we follow these rules because we're not stupid. And he's like, "I'm sorry, I've been stupid," and she's like, "Well, I've been stupid too." And he's like, "Well, I guess we broke one of our rules." And it's a nice little bonding moment. It brings up everything they've been talking about all season. And it ties it together nicely, and it kind of retroactively makes me like a lot of that stuff a lot more as well because it actually has kind of meaning now
yeah, no, I agree.
in retrospect. So I really like that, and I also like him kind of making fun of her look as well. Like,
Yes, she's insistent that it is bitching.
and he's like, "Okay, sure, it's bitching."
He's like, I'm not arguing with you.
Next season on the Flash, this 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 girl is bitching.
Oh, I can see it. She just redecorates the whole house and goes, "See, this house is bitching."
Oh, that needs to happen there. That needs to happen. By the way, did you see Millie Bobby Brown was on a talk show? I think it was
I did see a few clips. I can't remember which one.
she rapped. She rapped the
I did, yeah, I did see that.
a recap
The
of the
season
first
one
season.
recap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was vaguely amusing. I have to admit.
yeah, it was not bad.
But yeah, so no, really sweet. Getting out the final fight. So they get to the lab. They find Owens, who's like, "Hey, isn't that girl who who used to be here and went missing?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I was meant to tell you that. How about since I'm saving your life, you help me deal with getting her a normal life after this? How about that?" And he's like, "Okay."
I like that as he's saying it, he tightens it around the big gash on his leg. It's like, yeah, look, you feel this pain? You're gonna help me.
Yeah. But so they get to the entrance. And again, because it's intercutting with all the other stuff, there's a lot of nice sort of slow build to them going in as it's intercutting with the other people doing things and stuff. But they go down on the lift. This kind of, And what was funny is I was thinking of Defenders because there was a big part of the end of that last couple of episodes where there was a lift going down into a big pit. And I was kind of thinking of that. And this is so much better than that was.
Yeah, this earned its moments.
But funnily enough, like what I really liked about this, so they go down about halfway. There's a giant, I'm going to call it a gaping vagina to the upside down, and she's like, "Okay, right, hand out. We're going to do this sort of Magneto moment where she's trying to like close the rift. She's going to close it all, and she's having like these flashbacks. She's thinking about, oh, you have to find that something raged in your past, and something that really drives your emotion. And she's like starting to do it. It's working. All the monsters come back. But what I love about this, it started to feel like, in a good way, a really sort of video game-esque moment where all the demi-dogs are running up the side of the walls and they're jumping onto the...
And you got Hopper going badass with the rifle.
Yeah, Hopper's shooting them down as they're coming
by the
up.
Way, the assault rifle sounds amazing. Just every time it took the shot, I was like, that sounds so good, and it through all the subs.
Yeah, and I liked how precise it. Like, he was being very conservative with the ammo. He was like, little burst, right? He's dead. He's dead.
No time reloading either. So I ain't waste time. I just grab the next gun.
And he grabs his shotgun, and then again, I think that's why it reminded me of video games so much. Partly because you often get elevator bits like this in a video game, but partly also because the way he's just switched to another gun like that. Because this one's out, shotgun.
Every single game gives you a hint of swapping weapons is faster than reloading.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single game with guns has given you that prompt at some point.
But it works because at first it's like, okay, this is a good emotional moment for Elle, like doing this and try to close the rift, but it's not like necessarily visually that interesting. But then all of a sudden he has to hold these dogs off while she's doing it, and it becomes this. I was being shorthand, okay. So he's holding them off, and it makes it so much more exciting. And then and then the shadow monster, the main flare, sticks one of its shadow tentacles coming through to try and grab her. And this is where she starts to get so powerful. She's not only bleeding from a nostril, she's bleeding from both nostrils, she's bleeding from her ears, and she starts to levitate.
I could have sworn the blood was going to start coming from the eyes as well. Like,
yeah, I thought that may happen.
That would have been a great image if it.
Because again, if she was going to die, the fact that it maybe takes her entire energy to just close this thing, and then she's just lying there dead. Like, I could have seen that happening, maybe. It was a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's badass. The music that kicks in is badass, and she basically fights this tentacle back. Like, it's all sort of like disintegrating and like it's blasting back. It's like a big over-the-top moment, but they've kind of earned it. Like, because they've not been doing it every episode. They've kind of saved it all for this one big bit. and it's this big show of power. So no, it was really fun, and obviously she does it. I like that as she does it and her power spikes, every single light in town shines super, because the kids have all gotten out of the hole at this point, and car headlights just kind of like illuminate like really strong, and then the cabin, all the lights illuminate, and you go outside and it almost looks like a UFO abduction scene with all the light coming out.
You're right, yeah.
Coming out the building. So really really fun stuff in that sense, and that's actually kind of the end of the plot.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, okay, we won.
And I love, because the episode's a little bit longer, it's a full hour. I love that there's a solid 15 minutes at the end. It's no epilogue time, because we've been here all season. Let's see the happy endings for the kids. Let's see them have their moments afterwards. And, you know, obviously, given season 1 ended with this as well, I'm like, there's going to be a tease. There's going to be like, oh, here's what season 3 might be.
You're kind of just waiting for it, aren't you?
So we'll get to that, obviously, but I don't think there's a moment in this final 15 minutes that I didn't love.
This is some of the best stuff all season.
I mean, you got Will learn to dance. You got Lucas in the mirror, and Erica's back for one last moment. You know,
Classic.
First of all, Lucas is great anyway, because of the way he's like, you know, he's practicing. He's like asking to dance lines in the mirror.
Yeah.
And my favorite one's actually when he's done a couple of them, and it just cuts to him, and he's just like. And then it just cuts to the next one. Like, he doesn't say anything. It's just
like that. It's like, oh, almost shit. Let's do something else.
Hey, I really like this song. Do you like it? And Erica from behind. Oh, I love it, but not as much as I love you, Lukey.
Oh, she's so funny. Like, I wouldn't have called it, but
I saw an article actually yesterday. The Duffer Brothers have said they only realised while shooting how great Erica was. There will be definitely more of her next season.
Of course.
It's one of those things where they didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but then, you know, the actress or whatever, you know, while it was her, while it was just the idea worked so well, but next season there's going to be more of her.
Do you know what? You're completely right about that. Can't wait for more of that.
Yes.
But I just realised I did have one part of this epilogue I wasn't big on. Care to guess?
Hold on, I'm thinking. Now, we're not at the dance yet. We're still...
We're pre-dance.
We're pre-dance.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we're still pre-dance. So we didn't mention Hopper going to see Owens, that he's getting a birth certificate. And so next year, after a year of hiding, she'll be fine. And I love how he's like, oh, can we have her out for one night? Is that too risky? And he's like, oh, what's so big about one night? And he's like, And then it cuts to the dance hall being set up, and it's like, cool, okay, I see what we're doing here. And it's Christmas time. I love that we've ended in Christmas 2 seasons in a row. I like that touch.
No, it is nice.
So Lucas and Erica, I don't think you've got a problem with.
Definitely not.
You've got Mike annoyed again, because it's kind of like they're taking photos, kind of like the Ghostbusters at the start of the season. Again, sort of.
Yeah, no, I love that bookending, exactly.
I can't believe you have a problem with Dustin and his hairspray.
Oh no, that is the highlight.
That is fantastic. I laughed so. See when he pulled it out the bag, I was like, I just started laughing.
I also laughed when I saw the mum had a new cat.
Yeah, I was also laughing that Dustin is now just so happy to walk through the room in front of his mother, going, "Son of a bitch, son of a bitch."
Yeah,
he's so foul mouthed. So we're still pre-dance, and there's something about this you don't like.
I'm fairly sure it's pre-dance. I mean, it's possible I'm maybe mixing up, but because the tease is the only thing after the dance, isn't it?
Yeah. So
it's definitely before the dance. Then.
Is it Steve?
God no.
Aye, yeah, Steve actually, him and Dustin are best buddies. He's driving Dustin to the dance.
Yeah, he's giving him advice. Like I said, their pairing might be the surprise highlight of this season, along with Erica.
What the hell else happened before the dance?
Barb.
Oh, yes. Well, actually, what I did like about this, though, I liked, what's his name, Bauman, outside the gates of the lab, as they're all, and he's just out in a deck chair just waving, and the soldiers just like...
giving him the finger, yeah.
I don't actually have a problem with the Barb thing.
I felt like it was there just because.
No, I'm okay with it, because it's one little moment. Obviously, we had a lot of concerns at the start of the season. I sort of criticised it, but I said I liked it as a motivation for Nancy. And here's the thing. Honestly, after the first couple of episodes, it stopped being brought up in the same way, because at that point, it was just her motivation, and it just kept like that the whole season.
Yep. I agree, but I just didn't feel like I needed this.
You didn't, but some people did.
Yeah, well, some people are idiots.
I'm not going to agree with that.
Where's Bob's funeral?
Joyce is very upset about Bob. I mean, at least they know he's dead, though, so they can give him a funeral. That was kind of the point, is that with Barb, no, other than our group, no one knew she was dead.
Okay, here's my problem with this scene. This is Nancy's motivational season, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But Nancy knew she was dead. She didn't need to have the funeral. She'd mourned.
It's for everyone else. Of course she would go. Why wouldn't she go? Of course she's going to show up at the funeral.
I get that she'd go, but like I'm saying, the point of this whole Barb thing all season has been from Nancy's perspective, whereas this moment for her does nothing.
It's closure. She's accomplished what she set out to do. I think you're being too harsh. I think it's one little scene just to cap off this Justice for Barb thing. I have no problem with this scene.
Still don't like it.
I think you're being highly cynical. We actually got some good comments explaining why people cared about Barb, which I thought was cool.
Go on. Do you remember why?
I encourage people to, if they disagree with us or want to enlighten us and these kind of things. No, it was basically just that a lot of people, specifically women, find that they relate to her more than Nancy, because Nancy's kind of the perfect teenage girl, whereas Barb is more realistic and stuff. And I kind of get it in a weird way, because something what I'm going to talk about with Dustin in a minute actually kind of ties into this. Because
I get relating to her, but that doesn't.
Like, I get it. Like, for us, Barb served a purpose, but honestly, I think you're being far too harsh. This is one 30-second scene, if that.
I'm just gonna call it out when I see it. What can I say? Worst part of the episode.
I was expecting so much more of this Barb stuff based on those first two episodes.
It didn't lean into anywhere near as much as I'd feared.
No, and we got this one scene at the end. I'm like, no, what? No, people got their scene where our parents are crying at our funeral. We can move on. It's fine.
Yes, never mention Barb again.
But no, so the kids all go to dance, and I love Dustin's entrance because it's all one shot. It's like the entrance, like him coming in, this sort of hero shot.
Sorry, can we talk about his hair?
I'm going to talk about his hair. I was saving it for a particular moment actually.
Okay.
Because but obviously his hair, he's got kind of like, it's kind of shaped like Steve's, but it's still his curly kind of thing going on.
It's glorious.
So the camera spins around him, and it goes to this wider shot of the whole dance. It's very nice entrance. He sees the other kids. They all kind of make fun of his hair a little bit. He's like, "Hey, no, I put effort in here. What? Yeah. I'm looking dapper." And he so the more romantic music starts playing, and this is Lucas's moment. He turns around and asks Max to dance. It's very awkward. It's very stupid, and he's like, very smooth stalker. Yeah, let's come dance." Yeah. And the whole time, Dustin's kind of looking, and he looks kind of upset. He looks kind of like, oh shit, like I was going to ask her to dance. Oh, now I'm alone. Then some random girl asks Will to dance. She goes, and obviously, we kind of see where it's going for Mike. We're going to save him till last because we know what's happening with him. But Dustin's just kind of left standing there. And what I really liked about this moment for Dustin is he's upset for a little minute, and then he sees some other girls standing around, and he's like, you know what? No, I'm going to be confident, and I'm just going to go and ask someone else to dance. And it's this little moment of strength that I really appreciated here. It was a good moment for his character, but it was extremely sort of real, and again, authentic is a word I've been using a lot this particular review. But he goes over to these other girls, he asks one of them out, very confident, and he gets shot down. He gets shot down so hard. And I think that kind of ties into the whole Barb thing, where he is kind of the fat, goofy friend that no one really takes seriously in that kind of sense. And the way this played was very authentic to that kind of thing. Like, it's like, yeah, just because he felt sure, for a TV show or a movie, yeah, this would be a great moment where he goes and he just, yeah, let's have a dance because I'm confident, and the girl will say yes. But she's like, no, you're a loser, and goes away. And it doesn't. I like
that he's got balls on him, though, and he just goes straight up to another one.
It does, yeah. He tries that a couple of times, and like. And it doesn't play for laughs either. You feel genuinely bad for him, and like Nancy, who's like helping, she's like chaperoning the dance, and she sees him over there on his own. She goes over and like, hey, do you want to dance? And
she's just seeing the hair and going, I miss Steve.
No, she's not. But this is, although I was saving the hair comments for this moment actually, because it was cracking me up that as they were dancing that their hair was very similar between Nancy and Dustin, and I was like, this is surreal. This is bizarre. But no, I actually thought this was a really sweet moment. It's for a couple of reasons. One, it was like her kind of realizing, like, no, like he like she's been a better person. She's grown as a person over the last 2 seasons, and she's like recognizing why he's feeling the way he is. And maybe it is part of like losing Barb that's kind of making her feel like, oh no, I want to go over and help him. He looks lost, and I never recognised it in my friend, but I recognise it in him, so I'm going to go help. And I also think it's kind of sweet because we've never really seen these two talk to each other that much. It's not like they've had a lot of moments. I mean, they've been in scenes together, but it's not like they've ever.
No, not really. I can't think of a single one off the top of my head.
Yeah, and like she's just like, hey, girls at your age, we're pretty stupid, but they'll wisen up over time. You'll be fighting them off with a stick eventually. And she's like, out of all Mike's friends, you're kind of my favourite. You always have him. And I felt like a meta comment because most people's favourite kid is Dustin. It's like, you've always been my favourite. It was just that was a really sweet scene, and it worked. It worked well for me. And I guess if we're going back to the whole Barb comparison of like people related to her and then she got killed off unceremoniously, I still stand by my opinion that she served her purpose and that was the point of her character.
See, I think that's why it works more effectively, personally.
That's fair, yeah.
You're supposed to connect to her because, like I said, she's meant to be relatable and then she's the one that gets killed. That's kind of the point. It's like, no, you're in this with us.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think at that point in the show you don't really like Nancy that much yet. I think Nancy becomes more likeable after Barb dies and she like grows into a better person. It serves her arc. I stand by what I say about that, but at least with this I can kind of understand at least why people attach to her a little bit better. Better than Boba Fett. I'll say that much.
Nah, definitely.
Barb is better than Boba Fett. That's where I'll stand on it.
Can't believe that's been your arc this season.
My arc.
Your arc. Start of this talk, but okay, they're on par. Now one's better than the other, and you've gone the wrong way.
Barb had more of a personality than Boba Fett did, though.
Disagree.
I'm talking about the movie. I'm not read any of the stupid books or anything like that. I'm just talking strictly that original trilogy.
Stoic badass is a character trait.
Describe Boba Fett. He's stoic.
Strong and silent.
Not that strong.
Man of few words.
Died like a chump in the third one, so you know.
He did a little bit, yeah. I'm not going to defend that.
Tentacle vagina thing in the ground just ate him up.
There's a reason the third movie's the weakest of the three. That's it.
Ewoks, not but Boba Fett's death.
Ewoks are fine. It's Boba Fett. That's the real problem.
Yeah, so you know what? I still stand by my opinion that I think Barb served her purpose, and I don't believe in justice for Barb. But I will concede that I understand a little bit more why people cared about her. But to me, caring about her means that her death is then more effective to what it's doing for the plot.
I think that's why I don't get the way it went so far. Like I say, I understand caring about it, but I don't understand the obsession, the need.
I don't understand the obsession and the hashtag. I don't get that either. I don't get that part of it. But you know what? They wanted a little bit of justice, and I was worried how much they were going to go with it. But honestly, what they actually did after the first couple of episodes was just this one scene. That was it. So I'm cool with it. It's fine.
Cool.
Do you think this is going to bug you when you rewatch it? Just the few scenes we get, especially now this time when you watch it, it's only those few at the start, really.
Not as much as episode 7.
Episode 7's fine.
Get in there. Do you know what? Here's an honest thing. I like it less now than I did then, because I feel like now that I've finished it the whole season, I feel like it really hurt the pacing and the flow of that back half.
I'll give it. Actually, do you know what I will say? What I'd do differently with episode 7, but without actually affecting the episode itself, I would swap it with 6. I would swap it with 6 because that way you see 11's side of like seeing like Mike in trouble and like the kind of cliffhanger from 7, but you'd see it first and you'd be like, oh, what's this? We've not seen that yet. And then
no, I think that would be more effective because then you have an unbroken, home stretch. Whereas 6 felt like, oh no, this is it. We're ramping up. We're going to the end game.
Yeah,
then I went into 7. It was like
6,
okay, no.
6, 7, 8 felt like a trilogy of episodes. It felt like this is where all the action's really going down. And 7, okay, fair enough. Interrupted that. You could have swapped 7 and 6, I think, and that would
have helped in the overall like structure of the season for sure.
It
wouldn't have fixed all the problems, but it would have helped.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that. So obviously we're waiting for 11 to show up. We actually cut outside to Hopper and Joyce having a sweet little moment first, just them kind of reminiscing. And basically, having lost a daughter, even though she's lost a boyfriend and not a daughter, he's able to sort of just comfort her a little bit and say every day it gets a little bit better. And it's a nice little moment because they have this kind of old bond from school and kind of stuff, which I kind of like. I like that they're kind of the adult versions of the kids in a lot of ways, in the sense that, you know, once upon a time they were in a group of friends as kids.
Yeah. They never had to fight demons and shit. But...
Sure, yeah. Most kids don't.
No, it's true.
Most kids don't. So we're waiting for it. We're waiting for it to show up, and she does eventually show up, and Mike stands up, and it's a sweet moment, and they come together. It reminded me a lot of when Angel showed up at the prom in the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Couldn't help yourself, could you?
It's the exact same moment.
You had to get one in somewhere.
You know what? And they have the sweet moment, and all the kids are dancing. It cuts around, everyone's looking happy. Nancy and Dustin look exceptionally happy. The girls who turn Dustin down are looking over, going like, "Is he with a high school girl?" Oh, and you know, like they're getting all jealous, and you know, Max and Lucas have a little romantic moment. Then Elle and Mike have a romantic moment, and it's all very sweet. Music plays out. We go outside, and this is all fantastic. I love how this ended. I actually think it ends stronger than season 1 did. We'll compare them a bit more in a minute once we're done with this final touch. But so we go outside to this shot outside of the building, of the school, and then it slowly starts to tilt. And I went,
as soon as it starts tilting, you know what it's doing.
It's going upside down. It's
going all the way around. Yeah.
It's going upside down, and as it goes upside down, it crosses through the ground, and we're upside down into the upside down. That's what it's called.
Well done.
And it's just the school, and it's all the clouds, and then you just see the Mind Flayer walking over the building, looking down at it. Which, by the way, not so much here, but see when it was like you could see it like behind the gate when Eleven was trying to shut it. Yeah. And behind that red kind of like sort of membrane or whatever, it had a very xenomorph look to it. Just the head, it looked very xenomorph from behind that. I thought it was.
No, I can see what you mean. It's the head shape.
Yeah, the way it went back, like kind of like that.
Yeah, that elongated skull.
But you know the thing's over the skull, and it's like, you know, leaning down into it, and then it does the thing it did at season 1 where it cuts to the title and the main theme plays for the final credits, which it doesn't do for the rest of the season. It just does for the finale to say this is the ending of Stranger Things 2. And all I just leaned forward and said, "He's pissed." And that's all I said. And I think going into season 3, obviously I think stuff with Kaylee. I was just trying to remember her name. They really had her in one episode. Like, I'm sure that stuff will come up obviously in season 3, but I think the main thing going into this is that Mind Flayer wants revenge. It's angry.
It's going to be, how's it coming back?
Yeah. How's it going to somehow find a way back over? Because obviously we built this season with those teases of this big monster in the Upside Down, but we didn't really fight it this season, because even though Joyce is like, "Oh, let's kill it," they didn't actually kill it. They killed its connection to our world, and they killed all its demidogs, but he's still there, and he is pissed that he was cut off.
Yeah.
He basically, we're getting ready for the Empire Strikes Back. I mean, I know there was some comparisons that this episode was kind of, or this season was kind of that, but I feel like no, this is where it's actually
by the end.
angry.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit, you know, kind of like how Elle kind of went on this sort of like the mission, you know, but
the dark side mission.
Yeah. Like, you can kind of see like some correlations, but in the sense that no, the villain is pissed now, and it's going to come back stronger than ever, and it's like a vendetta. Like before, it was just it happened to be these kids. Now he's pissed at them. He's pissed at Eleven.
This is what happens at the end of that first Star Wars movie, where, you know, they beat Vader, and he's like, no, now I've got, you know, something personal to fight back against this person. Yeah.
So, and it's funny. I think it is actually, even just the tease, I think is actually much more effective than the tease at the end of it. Because at the end of the first season, you know, Will coughs up what turns it, you know, I think becomes a demidog, right? That becomes Dart or whatever. Yeah. And it was fine, but at the time it was like, we don't really know what that means, we don't know what that is. But with this little tease, emotionally speaking, I get it. I get what the mood is going into next season.
That's it. The tease of last season was, oh, there's a mystery still going on, something's still happening. Whereas now it's like, oh no, he's coming back.
Yeah. Now it's like, no, I get, like, this is now got an emotional connection with the villain now. And I think that's really effective. So yeah, to talk about the season as a whole and to compare it to season 1, which I think is worth doing here at the end. I think season 1 was more consistent and it was more evenly paced.
Definitely better paced, yeah.
Yeah, this one definitely started slower and built up a bit more. And obviously, you had the big problem with 7 kind of interrupting. Like I say, I'd swap it with 6. I don't hate it as much though. I do think though that this actually hits higher notes at the end. I think the final 2 or 3 episodes, not counting 7, that final trilogy
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
I think that final trilogy of episodes of all the action is actually higher than 1 ever got.
I'll agree with that. I think you kind of hit where I felt. So
Yeah,
I think 7 is lower than anything in season 1,
that's fair.
but and 1, like I say, it was very, very consistent. It hit the ground running. It felt like it was a tighter story by its nature of there was a singular focus: get Will back. Whereas here it was a little bit more wishy-washy in the sense of, okay, there's this thing, and it wasn't really until it took Will again where it was like, okay, no, now we've got a goal.
Yeah,
there was an actual objective.
It did all kind of come together, and there's so much stuff that paid off. We mentioned, obviously them fighting back against Billy, Steve becoming full-on hero and member of the team, and
Little moment with Steve that I liked more than I thought I would is at the end after he drops Dustin off, he looks in and sees Nancy, and you get that he's still into her, but I like it because it's like he's not making a big deal out of it. He's not going, oh, I'm going to win her back.
It's like he accepts that this is how things have turned out, and
right. And it was that moment where when he was with Nancy before before they all split up, and he was very mature. He was like, look, I don't care you with Jonathan. That's whatever. This is clearly more important things.
Or even just to make it a bit more feeling than that, it's like he just said it's okay. It's okay, and it didn't feel like he was. Because sometimes when people say that, it feels like they're masking their feelings or whatever. But with him in that scene, it felt genuine. He's like, no, it's okay. I get it. You're into him.
He's like, it's cool. I got Dustin now.
He's got the same haircut.
We can be bros.
He's got the same haircut, so it's just like being with you anyway.
Exactly.
And have you seen his teeth? Oh man, those pearls.
You really wanted to do the noise then, didn't you?
I really want. I can't do it. I would be doing it. I would have done it every single review this season since he'd done it the first time if I could, but I can't. I can't pull it off. So here we are. But no, so yes, Steve had a great arc. Steve became so likable this season. I think a lot of the kids Mike had less to do this season, but when Mike got his moments towards the end, though, when he still became the leader again and he fought back against Hopper, like all those moments really paid off. It really felt right.
Yeah, I feel like he suffered a little from being away from Elle for so long.
Yeah, and everyone else kind of benefited though a little bit. Though I feel like we got a bit more Lucas this season, a bit more Dustin. Obviously, Max we liked a lot.
Yeah, I think Will is still a weaker point. I think what he did do was great. I think the kid showed he can act. Like obviously we didn't really get that at all last season. I still, like this back half, we're talking about the high point of the season. He was unconscious for 75% of that.
No, that is absolutely fair. But like you say, though, his acting was very good, and maybe we'll get a bit more with him.
I hope he gets to be with the group and involved and actively doing things and taking things down.
What I think is interesting about next season is that if Elle's with the group all season and she's this powerful, like the threat has to be. I mean, sure, it'll be the shadow monster again. It'll be the Mind Flayer, but like. It can't just be the little dogs coming after them anymore. At least not when she's around. Like maybe that'll happen as well anyway. Which, by the way, going back to the Alien and Aliens comparison, I kind of like how the first season's it's one monster, and then in the second season it's multiple monsters.
No, it's true. Yeah.
You could have called it Demogorgons, plural for the second one. Just left it at that.
Yes. Stranger Things is.
Stranger Things is. Oh, they should have called the first season Stranger Thing, and then called season 2 Stranger Things.
They should have done that.
They should have done that. That's annoying. God damn it, Duffer Brothers. Damn it, think of these things.
Screwed up.
Think of these things. So no, we leave Billy obviously in a kind of he just has that one moment where he looks at Max and he's clearly not redeemed. He's not learned anything. He's still a complete asshole.
But he's kind of letting her go. It's like, all right, fine. I'm not messing with you at the minute.
So I think they've got stuff planned with him for next season. I feel like he's going to have some sort of plot next year that develops him a bit more. And
I agree.
For better or worse, maybe he'll be someone who goes down the dark path. But either way, I think there's something to do with
as long as he gets another kick in the balls. But like I said, he showed why you cast an actor who can do something, because he seemed like such a one-note character for so long,
Yeah.
and then he pulls out the charm, and it's like, okay, that's why you've got someone there.
Or even when he gets scared with his dad as well, that was different to
Yeah,
what he'd been all season. Yeah, like, he's got range. That's why you cast the Red Ranger. Is because he's.
yeah.
Which, by the way, he's been hinting on Twitter this week that he might be Nightwing in the movies.
Do you know what? I did see this, but I saw the producers of some of the in the movies. Okay, sorry, I thought you took it about the
No.
Titans show.
Oh no, that's been cast. There's someone cast for that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think one of the producers was saying that they're not even looking at that yet.
Yeah, because he tweeted a photo of Nightwing, and then took it down immediately. But obviously, some people screenshotted it, and we have proof of it. But
Yeah. I don't think he could pull off Nightwing.
I think he could. I mean, we've seen him with a mullet, so he's already got part of it. And all season, people have been commenting on how great his ass is. So I mean, he's already got.
That's it. Box is ticked. He's got the ass. He's got the abs.
Yeah.
He's got the hair.
He just has to be less of an asshole, more heroic, and all of a sudden, we
saw that in Power Rangers.
That's true. Yeah, we did.
Kids got range.
Yeah, it could be Nightwing. That's fair. So yeah, season as a whole, though, obviously we talked about it a bit, but I liked it a lot. I think as it went on, it got better and better, and when I mean, like I said, I watched this finale twice, and when I finished it the first time, I just had this giant grin on my face because I liked the happy sort of conclusions that all the characters got in their epilogue. The idea that Elle's going to be actually kind of officially Hopper's daughter, and all of them having the romantic moments on the dance floor. It was super sweet, and then that tease of like, no, now the villain has a vendetta.
No, I think my concern is, I'm saying, oh yeah, I prefer this season, in the same way that you're saying that. Am I kind of being blinded in the sense that, this end few were so good? They were unquestionably better than season one. But does that first half kind of being a bit slower, being a bit weaker comparatively, does that kind of make me go, well, am I just overlooking that because I really enjoyed this ending? And is season one being more consistent throughout actually a better season for it?
Well, I never said this one was better per se. I was just saying how much I enjoyed this one overall, and I don't think I'm going to have a problem rewatching the early episodes this season. I think I like the characters so much and everything they're doing. I think maybe what hurt it for us a little bit is because we were going day by day. I think
that's fair.
I think if I had binged this in one day, this would have been an epic 9-hour movie.
I get that. But I'm not going to defend. I mean, the show should accommodate for people who do it in different ways. That's not just binging it in one go.
I haven't. No Netflix shows do that. So
no, but to be fair, we criticize them all for it.
Oh sure.
So this doesn't get a pass for it.
This one handles it better than a lot of them do, though.
It does.
This one really does, because I think the pacing in this show, even in the first half of this season, is better than a lot of other Netflix shows. You go watch any of the Marvel shows really on Netflix.
I think one of the things I will credit it with a lot is every episode feels like its own episode. It doesn't feel like it just, as much as it is, very serialized. Things run into each other. Each episode feel like, no, this is that episode. I can point to it and go,
it does.
That's the one where that happens. It's not.
And I think you say, yeah, okay, episodes 1 to 3 or whatever were a bit slower. I don't think they feel like they have bad pacing though when you're watching them. They don't feel like they're dragging on or anything like that. Whereas other Netflix shows have that problem, and it feels
they're slow in terms of the season as a whole, but individually as episodes, absolutely not.
Yeah, so I don't think they do hold it back really. I think when you go back and watch this again, I don't think you're going to be going, oh, like I think you're just going to be, because like we were having so much fun having the characters back and all the little things that we're doing.
I mean, my concern is the appeal of that loss next time when you've not been gone for a year or more. Is that appeal of, okay, I've got the characters back? Is that appeal gone? So does it lose a little bit for that? I mean, I will say I actually like those earlier episodes a bit more now than I did at the time. I mean, I enjoyed them obviously at the time, but I think I enjoy them more now, knowing where the payoffs are, knowing that there actually was a lot of things that felt kind of redundant and they were just there because, like you say, we were getting the characters back, but they did actually pay off.
You just kind of argued against yourself, though. Like, you're saying why it will work a second time because these things that set up paid off.
It's just a question of, is there enough of those things to carry it? I won't know until I rewatch it.
I think so. I don't feel down in this season at all.
No, I don't. I don't think it's perfect, obviously, but I like it a lot.
Um, I don't think the first half is going to suffer on rewatches. I actually, if anything, I think it'll be better on rewatches.
Yeah. Oh, it could well be.
Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, I am excited for season 3. I think what will work really well with season 3 is that having Elle there with the team, with Max as well, all season.
Yeah, and we're still gonna get that whole of her coming back to the group after a while away because she's got to hide away for a year, conveniently.
Yeah, which will make it feel like it's still like a new sort of thing for everyone, so we don't feel like we've missed too much in the interim, and I think that'll change up the dynamic a bit again. And again, like we say, it's like we've went through like an RPG, because they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not just in this because of that, but it kind of is like we've been through an RPG and they've leveled up. And next season when we start, they're going to have Elle there already. The stakes are higher.
And you know what? That is a problem with a lot of RPG sequels, is that they have to nerf you immediately and kind of reset you back to zero because it's like, well, we need the challenge. And you mentioned how are they going to deal with this? They can't just have demodogs because there's no threat to Elle. I do wonder how they deal with that.
There's no threat to her, but obviously she can't be with everyone else all the time.
She can't be all the time, no, of course not.
I think it's easier to deal with it in a show like this where you're doing 8 or 9 episodes than it is in an RPG.
It is, yeah.
Because in an RPG, I'm thinking video games here, it's meant to last like 60 hours. You have to start low and build back up again. Because part of the appeal of the game is that you're leveling up.
Nothing.
And, yeah.
No, I get that. It's just that you actually kind of hit on that earlier. So I just want to they do have to address it in some way because you can't just separate her from the group at all times because that's just cheap. And and it's one of the reasons that this season, that was one of the weakest points of this season, was keeping her away for so long. Yeah.
But at the same time, they can't all be together all the time.
No, of course not.
For starters, there's too many of them. Like,
yeah.
I think it's natural for this show to break them into 2s and 3s. Like,
that's, even this season, they're split up. We had Dustin off with Steve, Lucas and Max, Mike and Will. That's fine. I get that. Maybe that is the only way they'll deal with it.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm not really worried about them dealing with that at the moment. So, no, my Stranger Things love has been reignited, and I didn't get a chance to rewatch season 1 before this, but I will definitely be rewatching both seasons before season 3, which will hopefully hit before the end of next year.
Do you know what? I've got a sneaking suspicion.
Christmas.
Yeah, with them being it's a year from now. After that 1 month time jump, we're kind of getting to the Christmas point, and obviously we did Halloween this year. I can see them just doing Christmas next year.
Yeah, the whole thing will be Christmas.
And hit for December because that kind of is a similar sort of time frame to what we had between the last two.
Yeah, I'd put money on December next year for season 3.
Yeah,
but honestly, the idea of an entire season of this set at Christmas is actually kind of exciting.
It's worth that extra couple of months.
Especially think about it. So much of this thing, even the first season we had Christmas lights as a plot device. Every single house is going to have Christmas lights. I can just see them playing with that in some fun ways.
Definitely.
I can see how it'll become something. Plus, I will put money on Hopper at some point will dress as Santa. I am.
I
guarantee
money on
it
that as well. Yeah.
And he's going to dance. Actually, see when Mike asked Eleven to dance, and she's like, "I don't know how." I almost thought when they went out on the floor, she was going to start doing Hopper's little dance.
Yeah, that's the only dance she knows.
Yeah, that's the only dance she's ever seen, so she might do that. I was thinking that might happen.
Yeah.
But I'm extremely happy with this season. These last few episodes especially have been through the moon. And I think maybe I'd argue the half and half kind of pacing of this season, in the sense that it is kind of more like a movie in that sense. Whereas season 1 was maybe more actually like a TV show and that it was more spread out, whereas this season it really felt like it all built to the third act, and then the third act had all the and you could criticize that and say it's not as suitable for the format, but ultimately
I think it's I'm fine with either, but I think it's jarring to have one season of one and then the other. It feels a little inconsistent in that sense.
Yeah, that's fine. But hey, I, I think the ultimate win though is coming out of this. Like, no, I want to rewatch, and even shows I like, I don't necessarily come out of them going, oh, I want to rewatch that, but I come out of this and I'm like, I want to rewatch this, like
That's fair.
multiple times. This will be something that gets many a viewing for the rest of my days. So
Yes, and until Netflix as a service dies, and you can no longer see this anywhere.
yeah, sure, because that'll happen in our lifetimes.
I'm just saying.
Let's be honest though, if it does, someone will buy the library. It's not going to just vanish.
No, it's true.
So you're just being cynical, like you usually are. So that is the Stranger Things 2 finale. Let us know what you thought of the season in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fudge for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/mailoffuzztv. You can do that over there. There's links in the description for that and in the corner of the video and the information button. That is us. What a journey. Life feels empty now. I have no Stranger Things to watch tomorrow.
No. What have we got tomorrow?
Yeah, we have the Gifted. We'll be doing that.
I mean, that's cool, but
So it's okay. It's no Stranger Things.
it's not Stranger Things, is it? I mean, we got Punisher in a week or two.
Yeah, a few weeks. I'm not as excited for that, obviously. But
I mean, do you know what though? You do want to come back for Dark.
Dark, yes, I am looking forward to Dark. That's hitting. It goes up on the 1st of December. Our reviews will start for it on the 3rd because Connor's away for a couple of days. He picked a Netflix launch day as his day trip.
When I did that, I didn't realise it was a Netflix day trip. See, now I'm confused my senses.
Yeah, you have to wait until they've announced their dates and then book your trips. That's the system.
It was a limited time deal.
Oh, well. Still blame Connor. So our reviews for that will start on the Sunday, but we are looking forward to that because it's a German original series, so it's going to be all in German with subtitles, but it's kind of small town, kids focused murder mystery. I think it's more adult focused than this is though, admittedly, but there is time travel involved.
Yeah. I have already seen multiple places refer to it as, like a German Stranger Things.
Yeah, so check out the trailer. There's a really good trailer for it that kind of like hints at what the show's going to be and what the tone is. It's not as I wouldn't say Stranger Things is light, but obviously it's got the 80s vibes, whereas Dark looks a bit more sinister, but cool. Like I'm excited about that.
It looks good.
I'm legitimately really excited about Dark at the start of December. So no, but like I say, that is us. So thank you once again for watching, guys. We always appreciate. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Keep fighting demogorgons and all that. Also, final note: Max saying, "See, Zoomer," as she stops the car. That's a roll. Cracks me up. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?